Hey everybody, Tom here. Just doing a very quick stream just to give you the context for a discussion that I'm going to be having later with my colleague and friend Paula Froelich. We thought that we were going to be talking about Meghan's show, but I think it's probably more likely we're going to be talking about Prince Harry on Colbert. So I'm not going to be able to play the video later. So I wanted to just play it for you now so that you have the context basically of what we're going to be talking about. So I'm just going to let this play. I might stop and interrupt a little bit as we're talking, as it's playing. I think fundamentally what I believe is that this is a very unwise thing for Harry to have done. I think that the moment he starts talking about politics, I think that you can feel the atmosphere in the room shift. I think that when he came on, first of all, well, look, let's watch the film first, and then maybe I can talk about it. So I'm just doing this myself without Ben, my brilliant producer. So forgive me if I'm A, not looking at the camera, and B, anything else goes wrong. But I just wanted to get it up so that you guys could see it before we talk about it later. Okay, so yeah, somebody very kindly is saying they know I'm going to get a copyright strike. I know I am, and that's kind of why I'm doing this as a separate thing rather than when I'm doing it with Paula later. So it might only be available as the live. Okay, so I think it's really interesting when he first comes on, right? People are excited, yeah, to see him. They jump up, they applaud him, they're ready to applaud him. So just keep in mind the atmosphere here when it's just Harry coming on, basically being a bit of a plonker, what have you. Okay, again, you know, trying to be self-deprecating, trying to talk about being the ginger prince, blah, blah, blah. It's all working quite well at this stage, right? This is the Harry we know and love. He's maybe a little bit older, a little balder than he once was, but he's taken the mickey out of himself. He's prepared to, you know, what have you.
No, I mean, that sounds like a fantastic movie, but you're an actual prince. Why would you want to be in one of those?
Yeah, and that's a really interesting point someone's made about the comments that Colbert made about Catherine and the alleged affair, the William's alleged affair, and all that kind of stuff. He is not the royals' favorite person. So, you know, and obviously with everything going on with the Trump administration, appearing on the Colbert show is not a neutral act. Now, he's about to say, you elected a king, and I want you to listen carefully to the reaction of the crowd, because I think it's really, really telling. And you'll hear a couple of boos. Now, look, this is the most democratic Midtown Manhattan audience that you can get. So Harry is really playing to his crowd here. But just watch what happens. Watch how the temperature changes. Do you hear that? You can really hear that is not just okay. Now there's an argument that it's people saying booing Trump, I suppose, but I think it feels to me like the temperature absolutely changes at that moment. And goodness knows why Harry had to prove how clever and woke he was, why he couldn't just be content with being the, you know, doofus ginger prince. I don't know. Anyway, here we go. It gets worse from here because now he says the thing about the lawsuit. And of course, you know, the Trump administration is thought to have put pressure on the channel to remove Colbert and through the lawsuit, and was accused of kind of shelling out this lawsuit to placate Trump. So let's just listen to this and listen how quickly the atmosphere of this, which is not to promote anything, right? It's just like he wants to say farewell and be nice to Colbert, but just listen how quickly the atmosphere changes. Really, really dangerous comment for Prince Harry to be making. I'm not saying that he's not entitled to his opinions. I'm just saying that as a prince of the royal family, you know, this is not a harmless punchline. This is not a Merry Christmas joke, right? This is this is the heart. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not American. I don't live in America anymore. Harry does live in America, and I think that he should know that this is not a punchline. This is the heart of America's cultural anxiety, you know, the conflict, the fear that there is a drift to authoritarianism on one side, the fear of the accusation on the other side that it's all Trump derangement syndrome, and that, you know, this is not this. These are very legitimate subjects for debate, but they are not like a feel-good gag on the Late Show for Prince Harry to be making. That's my point. I'm not interested in the politics, and I am not getting dragged into the politics of this. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and Harry is entitled to his own opinion. But I think that for a prince of the United Kingdom to be making aggressive comments about the Trump administration on a primetime television show is exceptionally misguided. I think he thought he was being clever. This was a cheeky wink across the Atlantic. The Trump administration is canceling visas for people who criticize Charlie Kirk. Do you know what I mean? This is not the moment to be poking the hornet's nest of a thin-skinned president. Trump has spoken himself about how he hates Harry. He's called Meghan awful. Noel Gardner, a leading figure at the Heritage Foundation, has had this whole campaign to try and get Harry evicted over the allegations of the drug use in his things. Now, Harry's friends tell me that he did this show because of his affection for Colbert, his respect for Colbert, and that he wanted to, that he's entitled to express himself. And I think another really relevant point that someone made, it opens the door to this conspiracy theory, that it looks like he's trying to get himself deported. It looks like he wants to be kicked out of the country. And with all the speculation about, why on earth he thought it was a good idea to go onto Colbert and bait the Trump administration, I just don't know. And the point is, he's not just Harry Wales, right? He's not just a private citizen. They're not just Harry Wales and Meghan Markle. As they often remind us, they're the Duke of Duchess and Sussex. They're HRH. They are the prince and princess. He's endlessly, this whole skit is about him being a prince, right? It's not about him being not a prince. And a global audience, you guys who are watching this, right? You are into this story and you understand that Harry is not a member of the working royal family, that he doesn't speak for the royal family. A global audience does not understand that. And Harry, when he left the royal family, said that he would uphold the values of Queen Elizabeth at the Sandringham Summit. And a key one of those values is that members of the royal family are apolitical. They certainly do not go on television and slag off Trump. Like, literally, it's going to be a state visit to the United States next year. Okay, haha, great punchline, written by the writer's room backstage. I think there's a real issue here. Like, I've reported a lot about how the titles are going to be taken away, and they are going to be taken away. And you can see with these kind of performances why they need to be. Look, there we are. I'm not going to talk at length because there's lots of you have said this is almost certainly going to get taken down by YouTube. I think the Late Show are going to post it on their own YouTube account. And so I'll call it a day. Thanks very much. Bye.